Has my boyfriend slept with this woman? Or is she just really desperate? My boyfriend and I met roughly 3 years ago. We were casual as in seeing other people for the first year. After which I agreed to be his girlfriend after being asked out numerous times by him. That first summer, about 6 months after we met, he took me to a pool party at his friend's place. They are a married couple with 2 young boys. I instantly noticed a vibe between my boyfriend and the wife. Let's call her Sandra. At one point, she put on a 90s R&B song on a portable speaker and said, "Tim, this is for you." The song lyrics went something like "Nobody will love you like I do" as the song played. She slathered sunscreen all over her body as my BF watched. I was at a distance, watching them. At the time, because I didn't have any feelings for him, I thought to myself, these two used to bang and moved on. As my BF and I got serious, I started noticing things between him and Sandra more. The next summer, when we were already official year 1 of dating, we once again visited their house for my BF's birthday party, which they hosted. When it was time to get the cake, I had to go get it in the basement and Sandra followed me. Down there, she leaned her arm against the wall in a blocking fashion and started literally interrogating me with questions. How old are you? Does Tim want to have kids? What are your plans? I was very put off by this. But being at least 11 years younger than her and also in her house, I thought I'd just be courteous and answer the questions. She finally let me pass her when she got the answer she wanted. That same summer, we visited them one night for Canada Day. All of us got tipsy. And at one point I was sitting in between my BF and Sandra. BF to the right of me and Sandra to the left. At one point Sandra leaned over me, poked her hand into my BF's chest and said, "Tim, look at me." "No. Look at me. I love you." He didn't respond and seemed uncomfortable. But for some reason I think he didn't respond only because I was there. It's odd because just recently I had a conversation with my BF about what he thinks love is. He's never said he loves me, by the way. But I have told him that I do. And he pointed to his chest, the same place that Sandra poked that night, and said, "It's just a feeling. You can't describe it." So he's never told me he loves me. But his best female friend has poked him in his chest one time saying those exact words to him. And now he's showing me that gesture. Odd. Still, that same summer, she and her family, husband and 2 kids, randomly showed up at our house one Sunday. My BF was showing her the upstairs floor when I barely heard her say. So this is the part where I pretend that I haven't seen this before. To my knowledge, she has never been in our house. It's also important to note that she's been married 10 plus years. Again, a little odd to hear that. Also, there was a moment of silence upstairs and then she apparently went into our bathroom. And the BF came back down. When he came down, he very subtly licked his lips. Not enough for anyone else to notice. But I did. Fast forward to this summer, year 2 of us being official. We came to their house yet again for another pool party. There, she looked visibly uncomfortable being around me. And I could hear her talking trash about me with all her female friends. Things like, "I can't figure out if she's old or young," and other things that made all the females that day steer clear of me. She always seems insecure around me. But this time she seemed extra insecure. Also, after numerous fights about her, I noticed my BF behaved very differently around her. Barely gave her the time of day, which seemed to bother her, as she continuously tried to grab his attention. His attention was directed onto me. I thought to myself, finally he's behaving how he's supposed to. It only took 3 years. I have a friend like Sandra myself. Let's call him Tony. Tony and I have known each other for 12 plus years. And we've also hooked up a couple of times. Every time we're around each other, we have the exact same vibe, comfortable, with inside jokes and lots of S-ziness. I will note that before we ever hooked up, our flirting was even more through the roof. Much like Sandra's is with my BF. It was relentless. I'm mentioning this because maybe my BF and Sandra just have lots of S-zool tension that has been building for years. My question is, do you guys think my BF and Sandra have hooked up? Want to hook up? Or has he always just paid her lots of attention, and isn't now since he has a long-term GF? Which bothers her. He has never had a GF for longer than 6 months. I am his first serious relationship. I am also 11-12 years younger than my BF and all his friends. Including Sandra. I have a feeling she might be jealous towards my youth and looks. The vibe she gives off is very cringe. And she only seems to do that around my BF. It's a desperate, old married woman vibe. A woman that needs to know she's still got it, so she throws herself at her male friends to see if they'll give her attention. It's quite sad. Too long didn't read my BF's female best friends acts very inappropriate around my BF. Did they sleep together? Or is she just desperate? Yes, they hooked up, and if I was his GF and confirmed this eventually, I'd feel compelled to let her husband know, because odds are they had an affair while she was with her, so she's trashy. I gotta say, it all seems trashy to me. From the casual hook UPS the first year, to him asking multiple times to be exclusive, then to this. I am really not surprised it went down this way. They definitely have something going on. And if not, this woman is trying to get with your man. I would very much tell my boyfriend to cut all contact with that woman, because the way she's acting around his significant other is very inappropriate. Zool. And unnecessary. She's a grown married woman with children who's trying to homewreck. No a hole here. Bad situation. Cut all ties with that woman, and if your boyfriend refuses to, I would cut him off as well. I'm more curious to know if he's had her over to your place when you weren't home to hook up with her. It seems like he's cut her off at this point. But that comment is really kind of a red flag if you heard her correctly. Some might think this is a bad idea. But I think you should just ask him outright. All cards on the table. Full heart to heart. I already have. He says they have never had X. I've had it all with him, loud screaming fights. Heart to hearts. Neutral and nonchalant conversations regarding this woman. Every time the answer is the same: I don't have anything to do with her. As far as the comment I heard, I honestly didn't hear it in full. I only heard her say, "So this is the part where," and my brain filled in the missing pieces of the puzzle. She could have said something like, "So this is the part where I pretend I like how she decorated the place." But I highly doubt it. Second story. My boyfriend's brother is asking us to break up or he walks out of the family. It's a bit of a long story. I, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 21 male, have been together since we were 17. We have a healthy relationship. And I have a fantastic relationship with his family as well. I spent every Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and any events in between with his family. His mom and I get along really well. And my boyfriend annoyingly complains about how she calls me more than him. Same with him, father, who's been a second father figure to me. And always reminds me I'm more like a daughter to him than his son's girlfriend. My boyfriend has an older brother, 24 male, who I also get along with just fine. But he's more kept to himself, so I don't know him as well as the rest. His older brother recently got himself a girlfriend. And actually the first time since I've met him. Has he had a girlfriend? This Halloween weekend was my boyfriend's parents' anniversary. And they invited me over as usual, but also asked the brother to bring his girlfriend over for the first time. His girlfriend is the same age as me. So I was looking forward to meeting her. That Saturday, I arrived at my boyfriend's parents' place early, as me and his mother had plans to cook a large meal for everyone. That afternoon was mostly just me, my boyfriend, and his parents hanging out. The girlfriend came later in the evening with him brother. Right off the bat, she became overly comfortable with my boyfriend and his father. She said, "I didn't know all the men in your family are handsome," and gave both men a rather tight and long hug. She then made her way over to his mother, ignoring me completely and saying, "You're so pretty. Watch out though. Your husband's on my radar." Immediately his mother turned to me and whispered, "I have a bad feeling about her." We stayed in the kitchen. But the kitchen looks into the living room, so we saw everything go down. The girlfriend sat on both my boyfriend's and his dad's lap when trying to talk to them, and both men seemed uncomfortable. Soon my boyfriend joined us in the kitchen and said, "I don't like her." I called her over to taste the pasta. We all like spicy food, but I didn't know if she could handle it. To which she took a bite and said, "It's good." I see why they keep bringing you around." That compliment felt backhanded, and I felt more uneasy with her. We set up the dining table, and it was time for dinner. My boyfriend's family usually says grace before the meal, and invited the girlfriend to lead today, as she was a guest. The girlfriend accepted and happily thanked God for the food and all the members intentionally leaving me out of the grace. I didn't mind too much. But my boyfriend and his mom looked at me with the "you saw that" look in their eyes. As the dinner moved along, my boyfriend's dad grilled her with questions about her life and this and that's something he did to me as well. She seemed like a decent girl from a decent background. After he was done, he started asking me about the things I was working on and my plans for graduate school. Before I could answer, she interrupted and started talking about her work and how much she hated it. I could tell my boyfriend's dad didn't really want to listen, as he gave dry responses back and then turned back to me and just asked how my family was doing. This trend went on the whole night, where every time I was acknowledged, she would interrupt me. Near the end of dinner, she jokingly said, "Be careful, David brother's name. I might just leave you for Blake, my boyfriend's name." I'm at a point where I don't get jealous or annoyed at this type of stuff. So I went along and said, "Yeah, Blake, remember to invite me to the wedding when it happens." That seemed to be the breaking point for the girlfriend, as she started crying out and saying she's been trying to embarrass me the entire night. She then went on a ramble about how I'm hogging my boyfriend's family and making her look bad in front of them. Right after dinner, she dragged my boyfriend's brother out of the house with her, and they left for the night. We invited them to stay over for the weekend. My boyfriend's family apologized to me for having to witness that, and we all chilled down to some drinks and kept the celebration going without them. The next day, my boyfriend's mother gets a call from the brother who seemed extremely pissed off. She put her phone on speaker, so we all heard him talk. He said his girlfriend is really upset with me and his family, how she's now having doubt about him and their relationship. She says that as long as I'm involved in the family, she doesn't think the relationship with him will work out. The brother then began to ask that I break up with my boyfriend so his girlfriend would stop crying and finally have peace with their relationship. My boyfriend denied the request. So did his parents. To which the brother then said, "Either she's out of the family or I am. I don't want to end this relationship over someone who's not related to us in the first place." Since then, no one has been able to get a hold of his, and it's stressing his parents and my boyfriend out a lot. I feel guilty, but also confused on what to do. I don't want to break apart this family, but I love my boyfriend and his parents too. I don't know what to do or how to process any of this. Update. Thank you for the response. I feel reassured knowing I am not selfish to stay with the family, and I plan on keeping things how it is and not letting my boyfriend's brother or girlfriend take control of this situation. An update on the situation that sort of gives me more clarity on why everything happened. This morning my boyfriend's mother got a hold of his brother, and we all went over again and sat down together. No girlfriend this time. The brother seemed to calm down a lot more and apologized for the commotion the other night. However, he's still backing up on my boyfriend and us breaking up for the betterment of his relationship. There was a lot of back and forth between my boyfriend and his brother, a lot of what I simply chose to stay out of. His brother got angry again, and right before he left he said, "You can shove that ring up your ass and don't think about inviting me to the wedding." He left after that, and the room got tense. So my boyfriend opened up to me about something. Basically, he planned to propose to me. Not now, but he bought the ring a few months ago and told his family, including his brother, about it. He said the tension between his brother and him started the moment he told him he planned to propose to me. I didn't know if I should be happy my boyfriend wants to marry or upset that this was sorta over a ring, lol. Now I'm still confused on the girlfriend's behavior, but I think I can safely say that beyond the girlfriend, a big reason the brother was upset was over the fact me and my boyfriend are gonna get married. That's the update for me. Also, a lot of people asked about my boyfriend's older brother's dating history, and I found out this was the first time he dated someone since he was 16. He's 24 now. Anyways, that's all. My boyfriend was bummed out that he had to spill the beans on his plan, but we talked it out, and he said he's gonna officially propose with the ring in his plan time. I'm gonna stay with him. I'm gonna keep my distance from that family though, for the time being, just in case any more mishaps come to fruition. You don't need to distance yourself from his family because 1. They like you and too. When you get married they'll officially become your family too, although you pretty much are already. As for petty girlfriend, I'd suggest that if she dares to show her face again you kill her with kindness. It'll drive her insane. Your boyfriend's brother may be acting like a toddler, but he's still an adult, and if he wants to throw away his family for her then that's his choice, and nothing to do with you. Your boyfriend or anyone else. Let him reap what he sows. It might be the only way he learns that the world doesn't revolve around him getting access to a private part. So brother and his girlfriend are both insecure. Jealous types. Crazy squared. That's going to be fun for them. You've definitely got the right idea. OP. Best to stay away from them as much as possible going forward. Third story. My ex-fiance's new engagement ring is the one I bought her a few years before we broke up. I had just graduated high school and gotten engaged. Though at the time my fiancé and I lived in different cities. It was easier to see each other when we had school every day together, but now that we graduated I would need to drive 2 hours to visit, and I was the only one with a driver's license. So we were not able to see each other as often. She wanted me to visit every day, which is something I was unable to do since I got off work at 8 p.m. But I did my best to visit on days I got off work early or on weekends. Our relationship started getting distant and toxic. I tried to make things work as best as possible, but one day, she up and said we're over and she wanted her stuff back. I went up to return her stuff the same day. I waited over an hour for her to actually show up at the time we agreed to meet, and she showed up with a car in person I didn't recognize. He seemed really protective, and I had my suspicions they were together. I later found out that they had been dating for at least 3 months before she ended our engagement. A little less than a year later she's posting engagement photos with her new fiancé, but her ring is the one I bought her for our engagement. Too long didn't read after graduating high school. My relationship turned long distance. She ended our engagement with me for not being able to drive 4 hours total every day when I have work. She's now engaged to the guy she was cheating on me with, and her ring is the one I bought. Edit to clarify. We have each other blocked on everything. My family, however, are still friends with her on socials. They're the ones who showed me. So I don't understand, why did you let her keep the ring? You gave her back her shit, why didn't she give you back yours? Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.